Now that interest rates have risen, we're going to investigate where to find the best interest rates, the safest place, and look at strategies for your emergency savings. So stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is Richard with Wisdom Investor. On this channel, we investigate all types of financial topics such as Social Security, investing for retirement, saving for retirement, when to retire, and much more. Today, we're going to look at the topic of where we can get the best interest rates. Over the last few years, interest rates have been very low. Now that the interest rates have risen, there's many options for investors and savers to park their money. Now, there's different types of emergency fund options out there. There's high yield savings accounts, money market accounts, brokerage accounts. These first three could be lumped under money market accounts. Basically, when we talk about money market accounts, there's no term. Term being like a 6-year, 1 year, 2 years that you have to leave the money locked in. Certificate deposits, they vary in terms. You can get a certificate deposit or CD in 6 month, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, etc. But you need to leave the money in for the full term. Then there's also Treasury notes. Treasury notes typically start at 2 years and then they go to 5 years and above. There's also different reasons for an emergency fund. Could be a job loss, medical bills, car repair, home repair, pay cut, financial setback, but it doesn't have to be a negative situation. Maybe you're wanting to save money and put it into an emergency fund to buy a car, save for a home, vacation. Maybe you want to buy a gift for someone, a future investment you want to make, or retirement. There's 3 major factors to consider when looking for a high-yielding savings account for your emergency money. There's the APY, which is the annual percentage yield. The term, is it a 1-year term, 2-year term, or no term like a money market fund? And then also the minimum initial investment needed. We're going to take a look at the top interest rates in each one of these categories. Keep in mind, it's very important to understand, are you going to need this emergency fund for the short term, or is this an emergency fund for the long term, let's say 4 or 5 years or longer? If it's short term, you're going to want to stick to more money market accounts or maybe a 1 year or 2 year CD at the most. If this is an emergency fund for long term, maybe 4 or 5 years, then you could use a combination of the money market funds and CDs or even possibly Treasury notes. We're looking at the top high-yielding money market accounts. This information is from nerdwallet.com. Now, these are online savings accounts. Typically, you'll find the highest yielding savings accounts, money market accounts online because they don't have the manpower and they don't have the infrastructure that they have to pay for. First one here is SoFi Checking and Savings. It pays a APY or annual percentage yield of 2.5%. The second one here is Lending Club. It's a high yield savings account, pays 3.12. The APY here is in the middle of the page. You can use these rates as a reference as you're checking around, but these are the best rates as of right now. Now, money market accounts will pay a lower yield than a CD. A CD, you're locking that money in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, so they pay a higher interest rate in general. The online savings accounts, money market accounts, give you the flexibility to use your money anytime you want to. Now, typically, the brick and mortar banks don't have as high a yield on money market accounts. Our next area we're going to look at that I think is real exciting is brokerage accounts. We're going to compare Vanguard, Charles Schwab, and Fidelity Investments money market accounts. Now, you would need to set up a brokerage account with one of those companies to take advantage of these great rates. Also, share any information you might have on where you found some great rates for money market accounts. It'll definitely help all of us. Here's the Vanguard Cash Reserves Federal Money Market Fund. It's a short-term U.S. government securities fund. Minimum initial investment is $3,000. It pays 2.96% yield. So if you're waiting to invest your money, you can put your money into this while you're waiting, or maybe you're going to need your money down the road This is a good money market fund that you can take your money out of at any time. Here's Charles Schwab Value Advantage Money Fund. This has a yield, as of the time of this recording, 2.96%. Minimum initial investment is $0. Again, you'd want to set up a brokerage account with Charles Schwab. Fidelity Investments, you can get the Fidelity Government Money Market Fund. It's paying 2.65%. Those are the best money market funds that I've been able to find. Keep in mind, money market funds give you flexibility. You can take the money out at any time. Our next category we're going to look at is Certificate of Deposits, or CDs. The best CDs I've been able to find, this is with Bankrate.com site. There's a 5-year CD that's paying 4.25%, and then there's a 1-year CD paying 4%. Other options on 1-year CD is Merrick Bank. They have a 4% rate. Banesco USA 3.95, and First Interstate Bank of Indiana 3.87 for a 1-year CD. Now here's an excellent brick and mortar rate from Citibank. They have a 1-year fixed rate CD paying 3.75%. You'd want to go into the bank to check this out. Another idea also to check out on the 1-year CDs are credit unions. Now these are online accounts here, but it gives you an idea of what they're paying. 4% is the top 1-year account on credit unions, has a $500 minimum deposit. If you're in a credit union, check with them to see what they offer. So again, if your emergency fund is for money that's needed right now, you would want to use a money market account. However, if you have 3, 4, 5 years till you'll need the money, or it's an ongoing emergency fund, then you could add some laddering with the certificate of deposits that we just looked at. Now we're going to take a look at some fantastic options with Treasury notes. We're looking at information from Bloomberg.com. This is on Treasury bills and Treasury notes. Treasury bills are 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month. Treasury notes are 2-year, 5-year, 10-year. Now let's take a look at the rates here. For a 2-year Treasury note, it's paying 4.48%. You would be setting this up through the Treasury Direct, or you can set it up through a brokerage account. Now look at this, it's very interesting. The 5-year note is actually paying less than the 2-year note because shorter term rates are paying more than longer term. We have an inverted yield curve. Normally, the longer that you go out on your term, the higher the rate. You can see here the 30-year rate is 4.16 and the 12-month is 4.6. So when they talk about an inverted yield curve, this is what it looks like. And typically when we get into an inverted yield curve situation, a recession is to follow. Now, if you wanted to ladder your Treasury funds here, you could break it up to 4 different funds. Let's say you had $10,000 and you broke it up into 4 different categories. You could do a 6-month Treasury bill paying 4.54, a 12-month paying 4.6, a 2-year paying 4.48, and a 5-year paying 4.23. When the 6-month matures, then you can roll it over into a 5-year and just keep rolling it over. Now, rates are expected to continue to increase up into the first part of 2023. When you see rates start to peak out, then that's when you're going to want to lock into the longest rate term that you can possibly get so that you can guarantee yourself the highest yielding rates over time. So I hope this information here was useful. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment. Stay tuned for our next episode. Thanks for watching this segment on where to find the best interest rates and place to park your emergency funds. Stay tuned for our next episode.